I'm Elizabeth Henson. Welcome to the Messy Success Podcast, where I'm helping creative dreamers and overachievers tackle business and life. After 6 years of being my own boss, I finally unraveled a tiny bit of what it takes to survive in this amazing world of being an overly creative entrepreneur. I'm your business bestie, here to help you with all those big ideas and to normalize some of the day-to-day struggles that we all share. My mission is simple. I want more women to make a living doing what they love and to feel good about themselves in the process. The best way to start? We can't do it alone. So welcome. I hope you'll hang out with me here where it's totally okay to be messy. Hello. Welcome to episode 40 of the Messy Success Podcast. You guys, I cannot even believe this marks our 1 year anniversary month of the podcast. How has it been a year already? I just can't even get over it. And I'm pretty proud of myself that we completed 40 episodes out of the 52 weeks in a year. That was right on the mark of what I wanted to do, which is about an average of 3 episodes a month. Sometimes we did 4, sometimes I took breaks. But I'm really pleased with the results, with all the amazing connections that I have made with you guys, all the things. I just can't believe it's been a year. So with that comes a little bit of an announcement. For the rest of 2019, we are going to be going down to 2 episodes per month. You guys know I always like to keep it real behind the scenes. A lot of this is just getting ready for maternity leave and preparing for baby Henson number 3. But also I want to pour into a little bit more of our promotional strategy behind the podcast so that I can get more ears and eyes on each episode rather than focusing on the amount of episodes that we're doing. So I'm hoping to actually serve you better and bring you even better episodes because I will be able to spend longer than a week, closer to 2 weeks, preparing for each episode. So I've really been listening to my people and seeing what people want, what people need, and hopefully we can continue to serve you and continue to serve you even better. So I'm excited about that transition just for the next 6 months. We'll see how it goes, and then we'll reevaluate in the beginning of 2020. But in the meantime, there are plenty of episodes that you can binge and listen to. You are more than welcome to come and hang out on Instagram and Facebook. We are starting to create videos as well, kind of repurposing content that I've already been putting out, trying to really leverage and maximize the work that we're already doing instead of creating more work. We are all about that, right? So today I have a super exciting episode for you. I have another fabulous guest. Her name is Mariah from Mariah Magazine. She is a website strategist. You guys are going to love her. We had an interesting encounter where she actually just pitched to my podcast. And I get a lot of these pitches, but hers really stood out to me because everything I needed to know was easy to find. And I dig into this on the actual episode, but I was just really impressed by her overall brand and her overall presence on the web. So I actually emailed with her back and forth a couple of times, and we worked out a collaboration, which you're going to hear more about in this episode. And I've really loved getting to know her and creating a business friendship with her. And you guys are going to really enjoy her as well. So she's a website strategist and consultant at mariahmagazine.com. You're going to love her origin story, where she helps online business owners get more website traffic and improve their SEO by creating a website strategy that's unique to their goals and ideal audience. She focuses beyond just the pretty parts of the website so her clients get the lasting results they need to grow their businesses online. But you're just going to love her outgoing personality. I've really enjoyed talking with her. She taught our online workshop in my memberships this month. She's such a boss babe. And you're going to love this talk. So let me go ahead and bring her on. Sorry, I'm a little out of breath today. I am 27 weeks pregnant now. So So yeah, just every now and then when the baby's positioned just right on my lungs, it gets a little bit harder to speak. But you're going to love this episode. I hope you enjoy. Let's bring on Mariah. All right. Hello and welcome, Mariah. I am so excited that you're here. I had so much fun having our coffee chat, and you're going to be joining us inside the Shine the Light Society next month. So we're going to talk all things about you and web design and all the things today. So tell us a little bit about your journey and what exactly brought you into the entrepreneur space.
Oh, yeah. Well, first off, thanks for having me. I'm super stoked to do this and to jump into the Shine the Light Society, so I can't wait for that. Okay, so, well, I'm Mariah, first off. And so I'm a website strategist and consultant over at mariahmagazine.com, just as a little, background story about the journey, what brought me into the entrepreneur space. All right, so basically, it was the fact that I didn't want to work for somebody else my whole life. That was probably the one thing that, I don't know, always has sat in the back of my mind ever since I was in high school. Really, when I got my first job, when I realized, I don't know, how a job worked and what you have to do. But before I made the jump to work for myself, I worked for a lot of small businesses, and I got to see the ins and the outs of them in all different industries. And for some reason, my mind always went to how they could improve and grow, how they could get better. It's I was mentally planning how these businesses could get more successful, even when I was 18. So it's I was problem solving a problem that they didn't even know that they had, or that I knew that I could provide a solution for. So yeah, that was just kind of my mindset from the get-go, I guess. And then I remember the day that I started my own business. I literally thought, if all of these other people can do it, I can absolutely do it. So I might not have known exactly what I wanted to do, what industry, what business I was going to run, but I just always kind of bet on myself, I guess. Even growing up, no matter what I did, I just always knew that I could figure things out. So I would jump head first into whatever idea I had, and I would start with trial and error. And that's essentially how I found website development. So I switched my college major a few times. I liked the idea of things at first, got into them, realized I didn't like them, and then found something else. And then it was kind of just taking baby steps to figure out what I really wanted to do along the way. And then I started diving into website development. Something clicked. And it's kind of funny because I actually learned how to code back when I was 14. So I was customizing my MySpace, which was all HTML code. And that's actually where my business name came from, Mariah Magazine. That was my MySpace name back when I was 14 years old. So for the fact that I get paid under that name now is super hilarious to me.
I know. I'm can we pause there and take that in for a minute? Because that is so awesome. I was just talking to someone about MySpace the other day, and I was don't you remember we had to write code to get an image in there?
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's literally how I started. I didn't even realize what I was doing, but I was essentially customizing.
You probably had the best MySpace page out of everyone.
I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn, but it was freaking amazing. And my friends used to literally pay me, not a lot, but $5 or buy me a donut in order to customize their MySpace pages for them too.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. But one of the reasons that I so easily connected with you, when I got your first email, I'm everything I needed was right there. So you made it super easy to go to your website, your social media. I hate getting emails from people and then I can't actually go stalk them, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So I went to your website and I was oh man, she really has her shit together. When it comes to branding and messaging, I felt so at home. It was so easy for me to navigate and get a feel for your personality and your brand. And that in itself made it so easy for me to respond to your email and pursue the connection. I think, and I've talked about this a lot. I think sometimes people undervalue a website and that people are only going to take us as seriously as we take ourselves. So everything that you did in that process, I was okay, this girl is totally one of my peoples. She takes herself seriously. She means business. Let's do this.
Oh, that's such awesome feedback. I'm so glad that you said that. That makes me feel so good. Yeah, for sure. I mean, and it's funny because this whole business has been trial. I feel my whole life is trial and error. Yes. It's just I don't know, you jump into something and you see if you're down with the get down and you see how the results happen. And then that's how business started. Essentially, like I quit school. I ended up going to school for literally like 1 semester for web development. And I was like, you know what? I can learn this myself. So I was like, I'm just going to completely trial and error this. And then it's just grown ever since. So like even like the branding, the messaging, all of these things, it's like I don't even realize sometimes that they've come together because it's always just been like a work in progress until it's not.
I feel like you need to hone in on this fact that you're using the same name as your MySpace. Like, do you talk about that regularly? Like, put that out there?
I think it's on my about page.
Okay, cool.
But it's really funny because people think that magazine is like my like legit last name. But my last name's Liszewski, and it's just like a big Polish jumbled mess. And so when I was starting my business, I was like, I don't want people to go to mariahliszewski.com. Nobody's going to be able to spell that.
Yeah.
I was like, that doesn't even make sense. And so eventually, like when I get married, if I decide to change my last name, it's like, that's going to change. And then I'm going to have an identity crisis. And then I'm not going to know who I am or what I do. So then I was like, why don't I just go with like the easy solution? And people like locally know me as that because even in high school, people didn't know how to pronounce my last name.
Right.
So I was always Mariah Magazine, like even to my friends.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Another rabbit hole I want to go down is, so you're a college dropout.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is something that I'm constantly kind of having conversations about now, especially with young children. And, you know, when I was in school and then I kind of went back to school to become a teacher, the stuff that I was learning to go into the local education system was like 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 years behind what teachers were actually doing. So I graduated, you know, whatever, ready to be a teacher. And like all the lesson plans that I had created, I couldn't actually use because they weren't like with the actual year and the requirements of the school system. So I would imagine that coding is kind of the same way. Like you actually probably were able to learn more current information on your own. And that sounds so bad. Like I never want to bash like universities, but you know, I think as entrepreneurs, we realize like that is so not the only way.
Yeah, for sure. And like, you know, not bashing universities, absolutely, because that's got to be hard to be able to put all of these lesson plans to be able to teach these students. Things have to get approved. There's hula hoops that you got to jump through with that stuff. But yeah, I think it is so important for people to realize that like you don't need a degree. You don't, unless you're going to be a lawyer or a doctor, please have a degree. But I mean, if you're not, then I would definitely consider other avenues about things. And for so long, especially like when I was in high school, college was the only thing that was pushed. I had no idea about the online business world.
Same here.
So yeah, that's essentially what I realized is when I was in school for web development, they were teaching me things that were 4 years out already. And I was like, why am I, like, I know that you have to learn the foundations, the basics. Okay, I get it. But they were teaching me website coding to literally make like, this might sound like gibberish, but like a table layout, like hard coding an actual website. I'm like, they haven't done that since 2003, 2005. So I'm like, what am I going to be spending all of this money on? So I ended up like creating what they taught me, and I made an online portfolio, and I went on Craigslist and I applied for a local internship. It was a paid internship with a local company. And it was just 2 guys a few years older than me that started this media company. And he was like, hey, we need an intern. We want to teach you everything. Like, you seem really eager to learn. And I was like, yes, please. So he's the one that actually taught me WordPress and like actual like development, the foundations that I use today. But I wouldn't have gotten to that point unless I was curious enough.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I know. And even I think back to when I was doing a graphic design program, I learned web design on Dreamweaver. But like literally by the time I graduated, nobody was using Dreamweaver anymore.
Yeah.
That's how fast everything changes. So it's like I paid all of this money for teacher lesson plans that I couldn't use and a web design platform that was completely irrelevant by the time I actually like walked across the stage. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. And it's super, like, it sucks because it's like, I have this piece of paper that essentially says that I'm qualified, but then it's like these businesses, you know, that are hiring. And if I look at like my standpoint, if I were to go ahead and hire people, I I don't care if you have a degree. Show me your experience. Show me that you're curious. Show me that you're a problem solver. Show me that you have like in life experience figuring things out. That's what I would care about.
Yeah. And portfolio, anything in the creative industry, like having some kind of portfolio for sure. But yeah, it's just crazy to think back. I don't regret college. I hope my girls go to college. I think it's more of a like coming of age and maturity kind of thing, than the actual education piece, which sounds terrible. Like you said, unless you want to be a doctor or a lawyer or a therapist, things like that. But like the creative world, and at least now they're incorporating entrepreneur programs. The school I went to at ODU now has an entrepreneur program. We have a local high school that has an entrepreneur academy. So I feel like progress is being made. But like you said, when like nobody really showed me how to be an entrepreneur in school at all.
Yep, exactly. And I feel like it just like, it fell into my lap. It was kind of just like, hey, like try this rabbit hole next. And I was like, cool, I'm all gung-ho with trial and error. So if this fails, then I don't know, I'll just get another job. It's cool.
I know. You're like totally speaking my language. I feel like entrepreneurs we either always know that we're built that way, or some people like it falls into their lap and they have to learn how to kind of adapt. Like you're obviously not afraid of risk. You're not afraid of failure, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I feel like it's so important in every aspect of not even just starting the business, but even growing it. I feel like all of those things still definitely come into play.
Absolutely. Okay. So rewind. You said you do your website strategist. So tell the listeners like exactly what does that mean? Like what exactly is your superpower? What does that do?
Okay. So basically website strategist, it's like I work with online business owners and I help them get more website traffic, improve their SEO. We create a website strategy that's unique to their goals and their ideal audience. So essentially, my job is to make sure that your website makes sense for the people that are on it and that it attracts the right people. Because at the end of the day, your website is where all of your online efforts point back to. So it's your YouTube channel, your social media, all your content marketing. All of that is driving people back to your site to learn about you and how you can help them. So if those foundations, if your website isn't set up right, you're going to be losing conversions. You're going to be losing clients. You're going to be losing email subscribers. People aren't going to connect with you if all of those things are into play. So that's essentially in a nutshell what I do is help people hone in on that stuff. And then once the foundations are set, we talk about how, growing their website traffic, improving their SEO, just making the web work for them, essentially. My superpower, I think it's definitely problem solving. So like it's like I can see a problem, take a step back and get a bird's eye view of it, and then be able to analyze it from all different perspectives. And I feel like I've been doing this like ever since I was little. I used to like take things apart, put them back together. I used to follow tutorials and just like all of these things to be able to essentially solve a problem. And I think that's why I love what I do so much. It's because like the foundations of the web are all essentially the same. But being able to jump into a client's website and see where it's lacking, see where they should focus, depending on their specific goals and business and audience, like that's my jam, is like solving their unique problems and giving them solutions that's going to give them the results that they want. So yeah, I would definitely say problem solving.
I love that. Gosh, what a good superpower to have too. I'm always like, I need help. Like, I always have to like pull in the troops when I need to problem solve. But so that's cool. So it's like website strategy is so much more than just web design. It's everything. It's the package, it's the design. Now, are you still like really into all the coding stuff?
Yes. Yeah. So I still have clients that are web designers actually, and that they hire me to either do the strategy. So like set up the sitemap, which call to actions each page has, because a lot of times web designers, they focus a lot on like how things look, which is really important. Your brand, your atmosphere, all of those things. But it's kind of like I compare it to a car. So like a car, the look of it is very important, right? But also what's even more important is how that car works, how it's set up, how the engine runs under the hood. So like that's where I come in, is I provide, the solutions and like the actual foundations of the site, what should be on it, how many pages, how they're connected, how we're going to get these people from website visitor and turn them into client or customer for their clients. So yeah, sometimes that includes development. So I still definitely code websites, but I definitely focus a little bit more these days on working with other web professionals or online business owners doing consulting, and that type of stuff.
Very cool. Have you ever designed like a custom membership site or like looked into it?
Membership sites I like to stay away from.
Yeah.
Personally, because I've heard horror stories from having them custom coded, and I'm a big work smarter not harder type person. So there's so many platforms that you can go ahead and integrate with your website instead of building those membership capabilities into your site. Especially with WordPress, I've heard a lot of stories with coding, and I mean, I've run maintenance, like WordPress maintenance on membership sites, and it was a big headache.
Yeah.
So I personally like to stay away.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure it's ridiculously hard. So, the course that I'm taking on membership sites, he has it all hosted custom on WordPress, and it's so badass. But yeah, there's like, if too many of us try to log on at the same time, like, there's definitely been glitches, but like the branding of it compared to like Thinkific, which is what I'm using now, which I love, but it's like one of those things you can customize it, you can embed it into your website. But this was like mega customized and very cool, but I just can't even, I mean, it must cost as what a house on the water would cost.
Yeah, especially, so like, it's not even just like the creation of it, it's also the maintenance of it. You go ahead and you add that custom code to your website, you got to maintain that custom code. It's just like a car, man. Cars need oil.
I'm pretty sure he has like people in his office Monday through Friday that's all that they do.
And I mean, if you got the budget for that, by all means, go ahead and dive in. But like, for me, it's not worth my sanity, and I even know how to do it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
yeah, no, and that's so good. It's so good to know, like how to help your clients navigate through that, right? Like, because for me, it's easy to have this shiny object of like, ooh, custom membership site, but then to talk to an expert like you, and you're like, let's work smarter, not harder. Like, that's so important to be able to do that for your clients, right? Like to be able to bring us back down to earth and be like, okay, that guy probably pays his guy $100,000 a year. Like, yeah, real,
Yeah, exactly. And that's why like communication is such an important thing. Which, I mean, like, I don't, my life in general, but like, especially clients. It's like, I want my clients to be able to ask me all of these questions. And one of the things that I'm really good with is like, I'm going to give you the answer, no holds barred, no bullshit. Like, I'm going to lay it all out for you, and I'm going to give you the information and help you make an educated decision that's actually going to help your business and not stress you out, because business is hard, man. So it's like, why add all these bells and whistles if they're really just not necessary?
Right. And I'm noticing that, the more mature in my business I get, and the more people that I'm hanging out with that are, have been in business for a while, to me, that's like a sign of professionalism when you can set those boundaries and tell someone no versus like, oh yes, I can do whatever. And then it doesn't work. Right. Like it's that, like, people are more attracted to us when like, we don't actually need their business, you know, like, because we're in our own lane. We know what our expertise is. We know how to serve people, and we're going to serve the people who are ready for that, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I feel like that's a huge thing in business, when you can notice that like you're about to send, I don't think that we're the right fit email, and you're like, oh, I made it. Like this is it. I made it. I can tell people that like, I'm good. I'm not the best person for the job, and I'm not sitting here crying that I'm not going to get their money.
Right.
That's a milestone, man. Like, that email should be celebrated.
Totally. I agree. I totally agree. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I was like poking around on your website, and one of the freebies that I was super attracted to was the 7 steps to get more from your website. So if you can run, I don't know how fast or short you can, like, in a nutshell, but give us maybe some of those 7, maybe like your top 3, and then I can send them over to the download, or just tell my people, what are some things that they can do to actually get more out of their website than they might be getting from it at this moment?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so the first one I think is so important. The first one is definitely to know your audience. Before you do anything else, you have to know your audience. because essentially your entire website is for them. It's not for you. So like you have to know who they are, where their problems are, how you solve them. Like you literally need to know exactly where they are in their journey and everything about how they like take in information, what solutions are going to fit them the best, their budgets for these solutions, literally everything from the big stuff to the small stuff. So that is always the first step that I tell people, especially clients. And if you've never asked your audience questions, like surveys are so important. I think that they're so underutilized. It's like, because us as business owners, we can create a website, let's say, and we can create this website for who we think our audience is. But then you go ahead and you send, let's say, your people a survey, and they answer with questions that you didn't even like realize were a thing. And it's like, oh, my audience doesn't have the problems that I thought that they had. So it's like even doing even more research than just the basics, if that makes sense. So yeah, number one is definitely know your audience inside and out. Don't be afraid to ask them. People love giving their opinions. Let's be honest.
The surveys are so helpful. I've started doing the surveys a lot recently, and they are so helpful just to hear, and you can set them up for success in the surveys. Like, you know, I like to give them very specific, like, how did you feel before this? And how did you feel after this? You know, type of question. So yes, absolutely. Ask away.
Yeah. So that's definitely number one. And then another thing that I want to point out is like, that kind of goes with that one is why you. So like you really have to know why, like who your audience is and what problems they have. Like, how do you help them? What makes you stand out from somebody else? So this is really going to help with like your brand messaging and like being able to speak directly to those people when you know what you bring to the table and how you help them versus how your competitor or like somebody in a similar business helps them. So that's definitely something else to think about, is like really focus in on not only their problems, but like exactly how you solve the problems.
And what makes you unique, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then another one is definitely tracking them. So like I always tell people, if I could go ahead and embed one thing into everybody's website, it would be Google Analytics.
Yes.
It's like free data from Google that essentially tracks the people that are on your website. So it tells you like what pages are doing the best, what blog posts are doing the best, where these people are coming from, how long they're staying on your site, where like what search terms they're typing into Google in order to find your site. It's just like really awesome, helpful data that if you don't have Google Analytics set up on your site, there's not going to be really any way for you to track these people and to be able to see what's working and what's not. So if you want to get more from your website, you really have to track those people that are on your website.
Yeah, that's so important. And like already looking at the list, I'm like, that's going to be where me and my people fall short. Like I have Google Analytics, but I'm so bad about like checking in and gathering the data from it.
Yeah, and like even if you honestly check it once a quarter, literally just take an hour once a quarter when you're doing, I don't know, you're planning for the next quarter, and just be like, hey, which social media platforms actually drove traffic? Totally. Because if you're spending all this time, let's say, I don't know, on Twitter, and then like you have 2 people in a quarter coming to your website from Twitter, is Twitter really worth it? Probably not. Or like even Instagram. So like I was spending a ton of time on Instagram, check my Google Analytics. Instagram doesn't drive a whole lot of traffic for me.
Right.
So it's like, why am I going to sit there and spend, 5 hours a week on Instagram when I could be spending it, utilizing a strategy for a different platform?
Absolutely. Yeah. I feel like Instagram is almost a better second step, right? Like I like for people to actually get on my newsletter first or find me in a situation like this first, and then come hang out with me on Instagram. Cause that's like where we're friends, where we hang out, where we share stuff. Like it's not a good place to necessarily get people from I've never met you before to now I'm on your website.
Yeah. Yep. I completely agree. I think that it's really great to be able to show like the behind the scenes, to be able to show your personality, to get a little bit deeper into you. But like I say, your whole online presence is kind of an ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
So everything kind of works really well together. You know, one hand holds the other, and you really can't have one without the other. So it's like having a website without social media, you're not going to get as much results. Having social media without a website, please don't do that.
Yeah, you won't get the long-term results. Like yeah. You might be able to get enough followers to like, promote Target or something, and that's great.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, I mean, that's essentially why tracking and data is so important. And I know that it can be really overwhelming.
Yeah.
It really can, like looking at the data and all that stuff. But like if you, like I said, just carve out a super teeny amount of time. 1 hour a quarter is not a lot of time just to look. You'll be probably amazed at what you see. And you'll be like, oh, this page is doing the best. Like, holy crow, I literally had no idea.
Yeah. Totally. Okay, what's number 4?
Well, I jumped over 2 of them, but then, okay, so we have track, and then let's see, promote and connect
Okay.
is another thing. So after you set up tracking and after you're going to be able to see what's working and what's not, another important piece to get the most out of your website is to promote it. I think that so many people skip over that.
Mm-hmm.
Like how can you get more website traffic if people don't know about you? How can people read your blog post if they don't know about you? And a really good rule of thumb that we actually talked about right before hopping on this is that you need to spend twice as much time promoting your content as you do creating it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I know that a lot of people want to say like create, 1 blog post a week to drive traffic to your site. And people, say that to me all the time. They're like, Mariah, I'm super overwhelmed. I know that I should be creating 1 piece of content a week. I'm like, ew, no, don't do that. I would rather you spend all of that time creating 1 solid piece of content that really like solves a problem or gives insight to something that your target audience needs and literally promote the hell out of it.
Yes. Especially like something I noticed too is like, when I was constantly delivering content every single week, I'm talking to the same people, which is great, but like I'm only reaching the same people over and over and over. Whereas if we have that 1 pillar piece of content that solves a problem that's really good, we can work harder to get new eyes onto that and to grow our audience like that versus just going to continue to serve the same people over and over and over, right? Like we have to really go wider.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's, as a business owner, we're juggling a lot. So 1 piece of content a week is like sanity sucking.
Yeah.
If you're creating like 1 solid, let's say 2,000 word blog post every week, like after research, after creating those graphics, after, getting the most out of that actual piece of content, that's sucking up a solid chunk of your week, just being able to do that. So it's like I said, work smarter, not harder, and find different ways to go ahead and to promote that content. You can excuse me, chunk it apart and then essentially promote different pieces of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a really good way to do that too. And promote and connect with your audience through that content too. Open up, the communication, engage with them, ask them questions about it, post on your Instagram stories about it, have a poll. You know what I mean? Like all of this promotion and connection could literally all be around that 1 piece of content.
Yes, absolutely. And I love what you said, hubby, and an ecosystem. I love that.
Yeah, it's so important in the online world because I see so many people like picking one or the other or like not realizing that they go so hand in hand and they're putting all of their eggs in like 1 basket. Mm-hmm. I'm like, please don't do that.
They're like, I don't need, a better website because all my people are on Instagram. It's like, but it's again, like look at our connection when you reached out to me. Like I wasn't nearly as interested in Instagram as I was in your website and the overall package, right? Like who is this person? That's so important.
Exactly. Because your website is your all-encompassing about you and how you help people. And that's why it needs to be strategized because like all the other ones might grow awareness for new people, but the people that are actually coming to their website are legitimately interested in what you have to offer or what you have to say. So if your website's not set up right, you're losing them. And that's a big deal. It's not the same as like not getting a follower on Instagram, because those are kind of a dime a dozen. But like losing these people that are actually on your website that were interested to begin with, like that's what we don't want to do. We don't want these people to send these people running for the hills when we could have very well helped them. It was just our website foundation wasn't set up properly.
Yeah. And I mean, everyone operates differently, but I know for me, like if I'm at my computer, like if I'm at my desktop, I'm actually consuming information. Anything I do on my phone is I'm not digesting information. It's kind of like social or pleasure or whatever, but I don't go to my phone when I want to hire somebody or when I want to research somebody or when I want to get to know somebody. Like that's kind of like fun town, right? But like if I'm at my computer and I'm on somebody's website, like it's all business. Like I'm there for a reason.
Yeah, I think that's a really good perspective. And especially like if let's say your target audience is online business owners, they're probably thinking that exact same way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, now if they're looking at your website from a desktop, like you really need to keep that into consideration when you're planning things.
Yeah, totally. I know my friends my mobile site is fine, don't get me wrong, but they're like, you got to prioritize mobile. And I'm like, I know, but like, I'm always thinking about how I operate. And if I'm going to make a big purchase, I'm going to read through that sales page on my desktop. I might scan it on my phone, but that's me personally. I know a lot of people purchase from their phones, but I like to have that whole like sit down, focus on just that type of experience.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm the exact same way. And one really good way to be able to see how people are using your website is Google Analytics, to be able to see, how many of your users are coming from mobile. How long are they staying on mobile?
Right. Are they purchasing from there? Yeah.
Exactly. So another reason why tracking your people is so damn important.
Oh my gosh. So true. Okay. So that was 4 out of your 7, and I'm going to put the link to that freebie in the show notes. Just because we don't have time to go through all of them today, but that way people can grab them if they want to. One thing I want to touch on really quick. So do you consider yourself type A or type B? Or like somewhere in the middle?
Yeah, I would type B.
Yeah.
I would type B. Yeah.
You give me a B vibe. The whole like entrepreneur spirit, winging it, like learning as you go. Totally give me a type B vibe.
Yeah. I would say like, with other things, I'm type A, but in business, I think that I'm 100% type B.
Yeah, my personality is very type B, but I do feel like when it comes to my clients and the experience that they get, I may not have a check sheet or an Excel spreadsheet, but like I am totally on top of my stuff. So like type B doesn't always mean that we're unorganized. It just means that we don't operate from a strict, rigid box, right?
Yes. And the rigid box honestly always scared me.
Yeah.
Like I remember working in corporate and it was like that somebody putting me in a box made me like so angry. So
right.
I don't like boxes, I guess.
Yeah. So what do you personally like to do to stay organized? Everybody loves to hear like productivity tips or just like quick hacks on what help you kind of keep your shit together as you grow your business.
Yeah. So one big thing that I think has made a really big difference, and it's super, super small, but I write down everything in my planner, all of my meetings, all of my projects, all of my deadlines. And that's how I plan my day, my week, essentially. I know that a lot of people like online booking software or like the online calendars to be able to track stuff. But there's something about like writing things down on paper that feels a lot better to me.
Do you back it up on the computer?
What was that?
Do you have like a backup on the computer or is everything literally paper pencil?
Everything is paper pencil.
Yeah.
And like even when my friends will text me and they'll be like, hey, are you free this day at this time? And I'm like, gotta get home and check my planner. I'll keep you posted.
Oh my gosh. So I used to be that way until my car got broken into and I thought my planner was in my purse. It was not, thank God. But at this time, I was keeping all my wedding client information, every photography client information, everything was in that paper pencil. So when I realized like, I would have had to like reach out to all of those people.
And like we asked them.
Yeah. I mean, and I guess like there was probably an email paper trail. There had to have been, right? But like back then, I don't know. I was probably doing stuff on the phone too. But anyways,
Yeah.
like, so ever since then, I kind of forced myself to have everything digital, but now I'm not motivated enough to do both. And I'm with you because I love that feel of opening the book, seeing the calendar, having,
Yes.
yeah,
It
but
is. It is.
yeah,
It just makes me feel better. I don't
yeah.
know. I think it's also because all of my work is online. All of my work is digital. So the
Mm-hmm.
fact that like I have something that I can write down on a physical piece of paper in a physical planner. And one of my client rules is that I don't take phone calls unless they're scheduled. So I do have a paper trail of everything, and that kind of covers my butt. And then even if we do hop on a phone call, I usually send a follow-up email going over the things that we talked about, or like any deadlines. Hey, just wanted to remind you, because that covers my butt too. So I guess like my email also, my email's pretty organized.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, besides the actual planner, organizing like ideas and project workflows, just Google Drive. I have like folders and folders and organized templates, and like everything is very organized there.
God,
But other
what
than
did I
Google
do before Google Drive? Like, Google Drive has been a lifesaver.
before Google Drive, it was Microsoft Word, and it was awful.
Like, yeah, oh my gosh, it has completely saved my life.
Yeah, so I mean, like, they're really basic things, but my planner and my Google Drive, I don't think that I would keep my sanity without them.
No, but it's such a good point because it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be like, that everything is done in Asana. I
Yeah,
tried Asana and it's like hurts my brain.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many. There's too many. I'm overwhelmed with things like Asana. Like, I use Trello for brainstorming, or like to communicate with my VA. Like if
Mm-hmm.
I have to give them, tasks to do and logins and things like that. But for my own stuff,
I love Trello. Yeah.
I gotta keep it. I gotta keep it simple. Otherwise, I won't use it.
Yeah. Same. Cool. Okay. Well, we're going to wrap up here in just a minute, but tell us like what's coming up for you. What's your next big project? I know you've been working on the YouTube interviews.
Yeah, so oh my God, I'm so excited about that. So this summer I'm releasing a Work the Web interview series that I'm pretty stoked about. I interviewed 13 online business experts that each focused their efforts on different things, but that focus alone helped them grow their businesses online in a way that actually worked for them. So like the whole idea behind these interviews is to kind of showcase how different online business owners don't do all the things or everything that everybody else is doing, but instead they focus on one core thing. So each interview showcases like a more behind the scenes view of the expert, where we dive into what's helped them each stand out, how they get customers and clients, and then we go more into like tips and tricks and spill some how-to secrets to help the viewers of the interview grow their business online in a way that works for them. So yeah, I'm super stoked about that. And like our interview is coming up, and I'm really excited for people to be able to watch that.
So cool. So have you already started putting it out there, or are you going to launch it all? Like, how's that going to go?
Nope, it's all launching on July 9th.
Okay,
But
cool.
then they're going to be dripped out every Tuesday and Thursday.
Awesome.
So
Okay.
it's basically like a summer Work the Web interview series.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's like a nice and refreshing way to go ahead and post that, where like I'm not pitching anything, I'm not trying to sell anything, I'm really just trying to like inspire and motivate people. So I thought that the summer was the perfect time to go ahead and push that stuff out.
Yes, I love that. And anytime you can collaborate with somebody else, like that is the key to kind of like that organic growth, the community building, all the things. I love it.
Yeah, and I mean, you were kind of the person that inspired me to start thinking about different ways to collaborate people, because I pitched to come on the podcast, and you were like, hey, well, I want to collaborate. And I was like, oh my God, I have nothing for people to collaborate with me on. And then so I ended up meditating on something, and I like shoot up and I was like, whoa, this is a great idea. And like everything just started pouring out, and I started reaching out to people, and these online business experts were so excited to be able to share these tips that work for them to help inspire people, because they know from like we know from experience that doing all the things is not a way to grow in a way that saves your sanity.
Yes. And I know every time I do something like that to help with visibility, whether it's an interview with you or I just did an online summit, that always gets me way more traction than like, just going in blind on Facebook ads. I know Facebook ads are where it's at. I'm not trying to discredit them, but the level that I'm at in my business, where I'm like really experimenting with them, experimenting with all this stuff over here, I see so much better results when I'm personally introduced to somebody's audience, because it's like that know, like, and trust factor is already there. It's like my people are going to know, like, and trust you already just because they're going to meet you here and then they're going to meet you in the Shine Light Society, you know? So it's like, it kind of 2X's that whole process because it's like, hey, meet this person instead of just like the ads in your face.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And it puts the social back in social media.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that that's super important too, to be able to connect, to be able to engage and just have like these normal people conversations.
Yeah.
And
totally.
like it's authentic. It's not like, you know, wearing a suit and tie coming in with like my marketing plan agenda, trying to like sell. Like it's not like that. That's not where you're going to get the most results.
Absolutely. So true. I know. And it's like the entrepreneur, we work by ourselves. Like it kind of brings that social environment to real life.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think that it's super important.
I love it. Okay. Well, tell people where they can find you. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah. So yeah, if you guys are interested in learning more about me, my website is mariahmagazine.com. I have a whole bunch of like helpful blog tutorials, and then I have YouTube videos that kind of help you improve your website, set up Google Analytics in case you were interested in that. A whole bunch of stuff. So if you're interested in the YouTube videos, that's mariahmagazine.video. But if you want to go ahead and reach out and connect, I'm over on Instagram at Mariah Magazine Studio. And yeah, if you guys have any questions or just want to reach out and say hi, I would love to connect and engage with you.
Yay. And I'll put all that goodness in the show notes. This is going to be episode 40. So it'll be elizabethhensonphotos.com/40. And I'm so excited. So you guys listening, make sure that you go say hi to Mariah on the grams, tell her hello, all that good stuff, how you found her. And I'm so excited about this episode. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you so much, Mariah. That was so much fun. I loved chit-chatting with her. I hope you guys liked it too. Don't forget that you can go find all of her links at the show notes at elizabethhensonphotos.com/40. And also you can find her at mariahmagazine.com. And we are going to link her video interview series as well in the show notes, elizabethhensonphotos.com/40. Also, as I mentioned in the very beginning, we are going to be going to more of a bi-weekly, twice a month schedule with the podcast. So I will be back on July 25th with a super special 1-year anniversary episode. You guys are going to love it. Putting more intention and putting it together. And I'm hoping that we're going to get to hear from a couple of our favorite listeners and friends. I'm going to hopefully make it super interactive. You never know. Maybe I'll throw in a giveaway since we had such a big giveaway for the 1 year when we first launched a year ago for the podcast. But I'm just going to get all kind of nostalgic or whatever the word is and reminisce on our year of episodes on the Messy Success podcast. But once again, thank you guys so much for being here, for listening. If this podcast has impacted you, please reach out. Let us know. Leave us a review. We're going to be reading some of those on the episode in 2 weeks, and we would love to actually hear from you and possibly feature you on that episode as well. So reach out, let us know. We will put a link in the show notes on how you can contact us or let us know, and we'll be putting that episode together for you. I can't wait. Happy 1 year anniversary to the Messy Success podcast, but also thank you to all the amazing listeners that make it worth my time and so rewarding to pour into this. So I hope you guys have a fabulous 2 weeks, and we will see you soon.